The corner, the corner, the corner. Hey, welcome. Come on into Cousin Ed's Corner. This podcast is where you'll find real, authentic conversation, organic conversation, unscripted, unfiltered conversation, like you're home with your cousin. It's all about life. It's about finance. It's about spirituality. It's about love and everything in between. I'm your host, Cousin Ed. I'm excited to bring you along on this journey. So sit back and listen in as we dive into a wide range of topics. I have some diverse guests coming on with an array of thoughts and opinions. My goal is to create a space all for us to connect and communicate. It's not really about me. It's about the community as a whole. Let's enjoy it. Let's sit back. Let's think about our past. Let's move into our future. It's about the corner, the corner, the corner. So no matter how you cut it or slice it, we're all here together. I'm just here to give you a piece of my heart, my mind, my soul, and my mentals. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. The corner, the corner, the corner.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. What's going on, fam? What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Cousin Ed. We are back. We're back with another one. And I am honored. We are honored to have another queen on today. For my sister wins, we all win. And once again, we are winning. Y'all already know this story before. I don't like social media, but it does bring good things out of it. And I found this queen on, guess what? Everybody needs to go to fan base now. It's Black History Month. It's, a new year, 2025. We can support our own. And I was on fan base and I found this sister and I was like, man, let me reach out to her and see if she'll come on Cousin Ed's Corner and hang out with us. So without further ado, Kellie Rhymes, welcome to Cousin Ed's Corner.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. So as you can see, she was professional. Now I got to get her loose. She with her cousins. She with her peoples. Like I said, I'm glad to have you here. I appreciate you taking the time out and joining us. Truly, truly honored to have you. I love what you're doing out there. I would love for everyone to learn more about you. Can you tell us what got you to this point you are at today? I always joke around and say I don't want the pamper story, but I just want to find out more about you and got you to where you are today.
Ooh, that's an interesting question because a lot of things got me to where I am today. I've lived a lot of different lives. I've started out in business, so I got that background. I majored in that in school. I but real estate investing. That is pretty much what I've done for the last 18, 20 years, something like that.
Okay.
I am a hair loss support coach, which is what we'll be kind of talking about today, a women's hair loss support coach. And I've been a teacher. I've been a lot of different things, but that has all shaped me to who I am today, really.
Well, like most women, you wear many hats and you have done a lot. We appreciate you. So I want to jump into the real estate piece before we jump into the hair loss. Okay. Tell me more about that.
I started real estate investing in my early 20s and I started off house hacking. So bought a 2-family building, lived in one side, rented out the other to my cousin, lived there for a few years, bought another one and did the same thing and kept the first property. So I had 3 units and then lived in one. And after that, it was just kind of me exploring. It took some time for me to explore and figure out what I liked in real estate investing because there's so many different avenues you can go down. But I figured out what I liked and didn't like, and I like rentals. So I keep long-term rentals. And then when the pandemic hit, I started what we call midterm rentals. So midterm rentals, for anybody who doesn't know, there are furnished properties that people stay in temporarily. Usually they stay around 3 months, but it's kind of 3 to 6 months is kind of the typical time frame. But those are your properties where you have your professional staying in. So think of corporate rentals. It's kind of the same, on the same lines, but it's not only just corporate people. I have all type of people that stay in my property.
Excellent. So it's more like a extended Airbnb.
Extended Airbnb doesn't cost as much, but yes.
Excellent. Well, like you said, we want to talk about a couple of things, but your page, your essence, your aura is what drew me to you, and wanted to find out more about your hair loss support and how do you help others. I know it must be a journey for yourself, for all of you who see the flyer, beautiful young lady, and to go through that journey and then now to come and support others. Can you tell us about your journey and then what got you to supporting others?
Well, my journey was really, I started losing my hair again. This was my late 20s, early 30s, and I had locks. So I was getting my hair retwisted, and my cousin was doing my hair, and she noticed a little small spot at the top of my head. And so, we were like, well, let's pay attention to it. We'll see. We can use some essential oils. Don't twist it too tight and yada, yada, yada. But it kept spreading. So eventually I had my locks combed out. So this tells you how attached I was to my hair, because I didn't even want to cut my locks off. I was like, no, I'm just going to comb them out. And that was a whole process in itself, right? Combed them out, and that spot just kept getting larger and larger. I went through a lot of emotional and mental challenges with the hair loss, and denial was a big part of it. So it took me a long time to even go to a dermatologist to say, hey, what's happening here? Because I was too busy oh no, I'm going to change my diet, or I'm going to get these essential oils. I'm trying to go the holistic route of figuring this out. But it just wasn't working. And I didn't know what I was doing. I could have found probably some solutions that would have worked if I would have had a professional help me. But those professionals weren't available back then. We have an abundance of people now who are healers and holistic people and doing all types of things where they can help you. But back then, that wasn't a thing. So
you said, I'm only going to, you said 20 something, you're in your 20s. So it's 5 years ago. Come on.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. But that was over 20 years ago. Yeah, so, it was it kept on spreading. I kept covering my hair loss up with wigs and putting weaves in and just doing everything I could to camouflage it. Meanwhile, I was super insecure. It took a toll in a lot of aspects of my life, dating, social life, all kinds of things, because I was always worried about what I look like. What is my hair? Could people tell? Does this look okay? And it was just a constant thing until I got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm done and I'm tired and I'm going ahead and just embrace this and cut it off. Now, it took me time to get there, though.
How long was that process? You said time, but how?
Yeah, that was a good... I'm going to say it was over 10 years before I even got there. Yep. It was a long time. And then that's when I embraced this look that you see now. I did cut my hair off one other time before this, but I wasn't ready. I was not mentally ready, and I had to cut it off because I got a hairstyle that actually took my hair out even more. And it was kind of a emergency type of situation where I was like, okay, I can't do anything right now but to shave my hair off. But yeah, I was so insecure and was not prepared mentally for that it probably lasted maybe a month or two, if that long. And then I was back to wearing a wig. And I don't think I took off a wig for an entire year. As far as going out in public and, I always had a wig on. Yeah.
Now, I want to stay right there for a second before you go any further past that. 10 years dealing with the insecurities and things like that. I've had this conversation on the show before. I want to make sure I'm polite in this, right? Is it any way I have a daughter, right? Can help our girls or kids, not only with hair loss, but with knowing their inner self earlier? If that makes sense.
Yes, it does make sense. Being open and just making them feel comfortable to talk to you about anything. I think that's just the main thing you need to do. Making sure your kids are comfortable to come to you for anything, to talk about anything, being that safe space for them. That's it. That's the key.
Because the reason why I say that is because we all have insecurities. It may be jewelry, it may be clothes, maybe cars, it may be this, it may be that. For us, here's something that you cannot, it's something that's attached, it's something you can't go, I guess you could buy a wig, but I'm saying something that comes from you. And, it's so much on TV, it's so much on, these celebrities and everything else that make us think we have to have these kind of styles and this kind of that. So I try to, I hate to say preach, but I try to teach or try to help my daughter especially understand that doesn't make her, right? None of that makes her. I said her personality is what's so beautiful about her. Her essence, just her, brain, all of that makes you beautiful. Somebody can see all of that with you. So that was just a question that I want to talk more about, like you said, with your support. So moving into embracing the hair loss, embracing the beauty of it. What was your next steps, and how did you get to the point of supporting others?
Well, once I made that decision to say, okay, I'm done, I want to just cut it on off, then I had to figure out, well, what would make me feel confident and still comfortable, even though I have a bald head? So then I had to make the decision, okay, I'm going to go get micro-pigmentation, because that, at least I don't look like I have a slick bald head. It at least look like I have like a bald fade. So let's go that route. So that's what I did. And that's why you can see like the hairline, it looks dark. It looks, so nobody even knows I have hair loss, really. Everybody, when I finally told everybody, like the masses, that I have hair loss and I have what we call scarring alopecia, everybody was like, I didn't even know. I thought you just, that was just your style. And I was like, yeah, it is my style at this point, and I like it. I love it.
Well, hold on. Some people may not know what that is. So micro-pigmentation, go ahead and explain.
So micro-pigmentation is a technique. Think of it as, it's pretty much like a tattoo, okay? But they don't use the same type of needles. It's a very, very small needle that they pretty much just kind of put all these little dots all over your head. That's the best way for me to explain it. And it mimics a hair follicle or, something like that. So that's pretty much what it is. Now, I got it done over my entire head, even though I don't have hair loss everywhere. There's still, thin spots. So I just had it done all over my head. But there are some people who will only get it done in the thin spots or just the balding spots. So it just depends on what a person needs. But that is what micropigmentation is. It gives you the illusion of a bald type of fade look.
I first learned about this. She might get mad at me, but my mother, she doesn't have eyebrows, I guess. Yeah. So she went in, she called it tattoo, but it was micropigmentation.
Microblading, yeah.
Microblading. So she had her eyebrows put on. And she recently, in recent years, after so many years, she went back and got it done again, and with a newer style and everything. But I learned more about that then. And some other females I know went and got theirs done. And like you said, they didn't do the whole head. They did the outlines and things like that. So I just want to make sure everybody knew what it was.
Yes. So I went down that process to just be comfortable for me. Everybody's going to be different because everybody's not going to just shave their hair off and just say, okay, I'm going to be bald. Some people will just say, okay, I'm going to keep covering it up. So this is an individual choice. But I had to mentally just prepare myself. I had to regain my confidence. I had to look in the mirror and say, yes, you are still beautiful. But even before I actually shaved it off and got the micropigmentation, I should have probably said this. I cut my hair down really, really low. So I just kind of adjusted to having the certain type of look. So I had a low cut, and then I would use fibers, hair fibers, if anybody knows what those are. But I would put hair fibers in my hair to cover up these thin spots and balding spots. So I kind of just did a gradual transition. But once I did that, it was like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. Once I really said, okay, I'm cutting it off, I'm getting the micropigmentation, it was such a relief because now it was like, okay, I can just be me. And that was the whole purpose, because I'm like, I'm tired of kind of hiding, or I'm tired of adjusting myself or being self-conscious. I just want to just be free. I want to relax. I just want to go to the ocean and jump in without worrying about hair, because I love the beach. I love the ocean. You know, like I just want to be free. So that was it.
I once heard a interview with Tiffany Haddish, and she talked about her hair, I think when she cut it and going outside, and the first time ever feeling rain on her head.
Oh, yes.
And she was like, it was the most amazing things and the sensations that she never had before in her life, and how free she felt. And I was like, that's, you know, I was bald for many years. I never thought about something that's natural for me, for a female never to have that feeling is amazing.
Yes. For me, it's the shower. When I have that hot water on my head, that's like the best thing in the world to me. I'm like, okay, yes, this is worth it.
So you went on, you started feeling comfortable. When did you go to the coaching piece of it?
That took some more time because let's see, I cut my hair and get the micro-pigmentation in 2019.
Okay.
Then remember I told you about the midterm rentals. So I want to say in 2021, 2021, I jumped into the coaching space, but I was coaching in real estate. So I was coaching and teaching people about midterm rentals, how to start them and how to get them up and running. So I was doing that. Now I did that. And then eventually I just got burned out, right? So I was like, okay, I got to change some things, rework some things. So I took a break. And this was actually last year, where I was going through this whole transition and pivoting of, okay, I don't want to coach in that space anymore, but what am I supposed to do? And I had to get quiet. I had to sit with God. That's just the honest thing I'm gonna have to tell you. It's like, I had to just get quiet because I didn't know what to do. The only thing I knew how to do, not really know how, but the only thing I was really good at making money with was real estate. So I'm like, well, if I'm moving out of this coaching space, yes, I still have my rentals, but what am I doing with my time at this point? What am I supposed to be doing? So I went on a trip to Costa Rica. It was a healing retreat that I went to last year.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm just talking to the ladies. I'm walking down the beach, and I'm at this point by myself. It was one morning. I just went for a walk by myself. But beforehand, I had been talking to the ladies at the retreat about, I don't know, what I want to do next. This is why I'm here, trying to figure it out, get some clarity. And while I'm walking down the beach, I'm talking to Guy, and Guy's like, you just need to start talking about this hair loss. Now, let me pause, because I had gotten this voice inside of me before several times. And I was like, oh, no, I'm not talking about that. I am not sharing my story. I am not getting online. I'm not doing that, But this time was a little bit different. And I was like, okay, all right, it's time. It's time for me to go ahead and do it. So from that moment forward, I jumped in, and my first step was to share my story, because that was the biggest thing I was scared of doing. So I had to share my story on social media, on my website, for everybody to hear, for me to be able to say, okay, you know what? I conquered that. Let's go. So after I did that, I'm going to tell you, doors just start opening up. I started connecting with people, it's just a lot of different things that just started happening. And the other part of this is, women would always come up to me and ask me questions or tell me how beautiful I am, just out the blue. And with the bald head, people like, I couldn't do that. My hair doesn't look good. I'm like, yes, you could. I'm pretty sure you probably could. If your confidence is together, you could do anything, right?
That's the biggest thing. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So the women coming up and asking for advice. I had a woman who she was married, and she was scared that her husband was not going to be attracted to her anymore. And I'm at a festival, and this lady's like, can you, pulling me to the side, is asking me questions. I had to I had to pour into her, because I'm like, no, her husband was there as well. Mm-hmm. And he was reassuring her that, no, I'm still, I still love you. I don't care, yada, yada, yada. But she didn't believe it. and it was just about, I'm not confident. And she still had hair, but it was thinning.
Mm-hmm.
So I just had to reassure her it's okay. I just told her about my experience. My boyfriend was there, so he was like, I met her bald. So yeah, like,
it's possible.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's okay. You're still beautiful. So with those experiences of people coming up to me, plus me, talking with God and taking my time, I was like, okay, I just got to do it. And it just has gone from there.
Well, I know I'm not sure if you want to take on, I'm trying to be nice here, some of the celebrities that may have it, because one has some controversy behind her right now. But
oh, who we talking? Look, I
don't have a red table, so I can't say.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But some people out there, they help shed light to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, one I do love is the Congress lady. I can't think of her name right now.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, she has it. She rocks it beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of beautiful sisters out there. Y'all beautiful no matter what.
Yes.
I don't understand. Like, okay.
Well, you know what? It is society. Society has a beauty standard, right? And a bald woman isn't a part of their beauty standard, according to tradition. You get what I mean?
I get it. I get it.
I've even had a man come up to me before, not come up to me, but I knew him, but he said to me, and this is when I cut off my hair that first time and was super insecure. He was like, do you know it's a sin to have a bald head? And I'm looking like, what? That's what you're saying? Really? Really? So do you say that to people who have cancer and lose their hair? Like,
that's another thing.
Oh, dude, that's ignorant.
I was going to ask you that question. Is there a people thinking it's because of cancer?
I'm sure they do, but nobody has ever come up to me and said that. But again, that probably is because I have the micro-pigmentation, so it doesn't look like, I have a slick bald head. Now, other people I have worked with and spoken to, yes, they have had those experiences where people have mistakenly thought they had cancer automatically. Mm-hmm. So, yes, that is a thing. And you shouldn't assume that, because hair loss in women in particular, because I'm only going to speak from that standpoint. I'm not a man. That is more common than you know. There are millions of women out here with hair loss, different forms of hair loss. A woman can lose their hair just from hormones, stress, like all kind of stuff. If they have a baby, postpartum, menopause, like all that stuff causes your hair to thin. Not just alopecia, not just, cancer treatments or radiation and chemo. It's a lot of different things, thyroids, all kind of stuff. So people just need to be educated or more aware about it. And the reason why people don't know as much about it is because women don't talk about it. We hide. Just like I told you, I was in so much denial and I didn't even share it with a lot of people. There are so many women out here who are doing the same thing. Now, there are women who rock a bald head proudly. They're out open with it, but it took time to get there. It's always a journey. I haven't met one woman who has said, oh yeah, I was experiencing hair loss and I just decided to go ahead and cut it off within a couple weeks. No. It usually does not happen that way because hair is a part of our identity. So we have to shift that narrative. We have to say, there's more. Just like plus size people, that they were excluded from beauty and now we see them walking down runways. Same thing.
I think we as our culture for one, but also our kids, I think it starts there. If we can get our kids to realize there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. I think that'd be a great start. Once we get our kids to realize there's nothing wrong with it, it'd be a great start.
But I think right now, in this time, the kids that are growing up, they are exposed to more and they're more open to things than when I was little. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. So, it was a lot of things that we just weren't exposed to, or, we didn't have open minds like these kids now. So I think it'll be a little bit different for, these younger kids.
But I still fear, because I dropped my daughter off at school and I look around at what we have as a standard, Now, one thing I will say, I'm seeing a lot more guys and girls with the locks and everything else, so more natural hair and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So I am proud of that. But the amount of people that I see with extensions and things of that matter early, I'm like, you don't need it. You're beautiful. Like, so, like I said, I get in trouble for saying that because I'm not on that side of it as a female.
Mm-hmm.
And it may have took me many years to realize it as a male to promote it for a female, right? So if I think back to when I was 18, what would I have said to a young lady at that time? So it's a lot of maturity with age is maturity.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think if we teach it early, I think we can get it a lot further.
But I think also back to that cultural part, we also have to think about, and I'm just thinking about my experience, that hair is just a big deal in general. Even with natural hair. Black women, we stayed in the salon. I don't care, who it was. You
Mm-hmm.
were usually getting your hair done, whether it was straightened or now natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to keep our hair done because as we grew up, at least when I grew up, that's a sense of pride. That's a sense of you present yourself in a certain way. You want to make sure you always look nice. And looking nice means your hair looks presentable, like, cause it should be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just how we grew up. It's still ingrained in us that, your hair has to be on point.
I agree. And once again, you look nice.
Thank you.
And if we can get our youth, get our culture, get our community to realize that earlier, I think many of us will get away from thinking we need these things. And when I say this, I get in not a lot of debates. A few people that's close to me I get in these debates or conversations about. And I don't want to only I don't want to only put it on women. It's us as men too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I put it on the money, back then gold teeth and tattoos and whatever else you think you need to impress people with.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I said gold teeth. That's back in the. You say it was 80, 90.
Yes, I know about gold teeth.
Back in the day, but whatever we think we need, we don't really need. I want to go back to other persuasion who drives a old F-150. They know they don't need. They don't need a Tesla. They don't need a Mercedes. They don't need all that stuff.
Yep.
And they are raised that way to understand they don't need that. So we just got to start. We got to change our culture. So
we do. And but it's gonna take work because that's a whole mindset shift. We got a lot of work to do. We ain't gonna go down that route, but that's a big mindset shift.
Well, you're going to be back, so I mean, we could talk about all of that, but I want to hit on a couple other things before I let you go tonight. Reclaiming your crown.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of your mantras and brands and a retreat. Can you tell us more about that?
So, reclaiming your crown, that is really what I call my 90-day package. Is where that is really the program that I take women through, where we go from, okay, what's happening with your hair loss? What do you need? And we start from the beginning of them being insecure, trying to figure some things out, to them releasing some of these negative emotions they're having. The identity has to shift, because if you're a woman who's, like for myself, if you have scarring alopecia, a lot of times if it's too far along, your hair isn't coming back. And that is something you have to accept and embrace. Now, with other forms of hair loss, yeah, it can come back depending on what you do. But really taking women through that journey to say, all right, we got to get from A to Z to where you're feeling confident, you're okay. And whatever decision you make, whether that's to continue to wear a wig, to cut your hair off, whatever you want to do, wear hair wraps, whatever that is, I want you to be confident in that and feel good about that, because you have a life to live, and that's why you were put on this earth. And that is what we need to focus on, right? We got to get to that and living a joyful life. So that's what reclaiming your crown is all about. Now, the retreat, that is something like separate, where basically the concept is, and I haven't planned it out, so don't think it's all together.
Okay.
It's not, but that is my idea of bringing people together to just say, you know what, I just need to relax. I just want to be me. I just want to be free. And, we just need to woosah on this. And whether, we're going to do some meditation, some yoga, you just want to sleep because we're coming from that fast-paced culture. We go, 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 go. We get 5 days of vacation, if that, from a job or something like that. Sometimes you get 2 weeks, but that's not enough. People are tired. So just really giving people the space to say, let's just unwind, let's relax, and then giving them what they need. What do you need poured into you? Like, do you need to sit down and have a session with me, like to work through something? Or do you, like I said, do you just want to come here and just be? So that's what that retreat is. That's the concept of it. But again, it's still in the works.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I'm just going to let it sit there and, work itself on out.
You talked that you spoke about your rebirthing came from the retreat you went on. So definitely it can help anybody else go into a retreat and, discovering itself or rediscovering itself.
Exactly.
Or reclaiming themselves.
Reclaiming that crown. Yes. So we're going to get to it right now. I have a lot happening. I'm trying to relocate myself. So we're going to get to it.
Definitely. Now, you do have a clothing brand that you just launched recently. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. So it's the Bougie Baldy apparel. And I have sweatshirts like you see right now. This is my logo. But I also just have pictures. They're t-shirts with pictures of women who are bald. And they have inspirational, maybe messages on it, about being just beautiful and being confident as a bald woman and just saying, yeah, I'm here, I'm bald, and so what? I'm good. There are so many women who are at that place, and there are so many women who aren't. But that's the work I do, is to get the women who aren't to that place.
Excellent. And I love the design. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
So this is mainly audio, but those who haven't seen it, I will definitely get her to tell us your website. Let's go ahead and do that now.
Yeah. Okay. So my website is limitlessmindsetcoach.com. So you can find everything there. Limitlessmindsetcoach.com. You'll get information about me. It's testimonials. It's my store. I have a little bit of everything. You can just check me out. And I also have some free stuff, free journals to download if you are experiencing hair loss and you want to kind of start the process but don't know what to do. Let's write those feelings out. Let's write those emotions out. Let's figure out, what you need to do. So there's a lot on there. Go check it out.
Definitely. I did see that they can schedule some time with you as well there.
Yes, they can schedule a call with me to chat and just do a consultation, and we'll talk about what they're experiencing and how I'll be able to help.
Excellent. Like I said, I didn't want to keep you long. I wanted to learn more about you. I would love for you to come back. So you have an open invitation to come back anytime you like. She does have a podcast. Can you tell them about your podcast as well?
Yes. So my podcast is the Bougie Baldy podcast. It's on YouTube, it's on Apple, Spotify, all of those things. So you can find me, just search the Bougie Baldy.
Listen, it's an inside joke. All you gotta do is ask your Siri or ask your Alexa or ask your Google, please play the Bougie Baldy, all right? Ask your Googles to play the Bougie Baldy, all right? Inside joke.
Yeah, you're talking about me. That's okay. It's all right.
Hey, fam. Like I said, this has been a great show. I appreciate you. Once again, let's give them all of your information where they can find you again, your Instagram, your call letters, everything like that's where they can find you again.
Okay. So I am on Facebook. Now, I got 2 different names, so I don't want to confuse you, but we will have the links in this show, I'm sure. So,
show notes, yes.
Yes. So Facebook, I'm Miss Kellie Michelle. Yep. And Instagram and everything else, fan base, I am Bougie Baldy. Okay. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, and YouTube, the Bougie Baldy. So you can search for me and find me there.
I think Instagram I'm seeing Bougie. Oh, let me see what I'm seeing on Instagram.
Instagram, you should see Bougie Baldy.
No?
Is it Miss Kellie?
Yep.
Okay. One of them I couldn't change. So, okay, there you go. So it's Miss Kellie Michelle on Facebook and Instagram.
Well, If you need to find her and you can't find her, definitely reach out to me, 762-333-2032. That's 762-333-2032. Also, leave a voicemail there for her, and I would definitely forward it to her. You can also go to cousinedscorner.com. That's cousinedscorner.com. Across the top of the page, hit leave voicemail, and I can do it there as well. Look in the show notes. I will probably post a picture of her with the t-shirt brand, with the branding, and all of her information will be there as well. Like I said, sis, I love to have you back. The key is under the mat. The brown is below the cabinet. The clear is above, and the red cup's on the countertop. So you're welcome to come back anytime.
I will be there.
All right. Hey, fam, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Nothing you can do about it. Be safe, be great, and just keep supporting the show. Thank you very much.
Hey, this is Kelly. I am a women's hair loss support and authenticity coach with Limitless Mindset Coaching. You can find me at limitlessmindsetcoach.com. And when I am not out supporting women with hair loss, I'm listening to Cousin Ed's Corner. Check it out.
Hey, y'all. Aisha here, founder and CEO of the Sistahs in Business Expo, the country's only multi-city small business expo and community created to celebrate and educate entrepreneurial women of color. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Cousin Ed's Corner. And remember, when my sister wins, we all win.
This episode of Cousin Ed's Corner was brought to you by the Sistah Shop. Please be sure to visit them at thesistahshop.com. That's THESISTAHSHOP.com. Thesistahshop.com. Thank you for listening to Cousin Ed's Corner.